What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there? Well, it's time once again for an update of the HO scale layout above the garage, the Glenmont Valley Railroad. Alright, so as you guys know, if you've built layouts, you do something, you don't like it, you tear it back out. Some people get frustrated at that, and I don't have a problem with it, because you want it to be not perfect, but perfect. You don't want to end up with a lot of problems that you're frustrated with down the road, because frustrations make it not fun. So yeah, if you make a mistake or just don't like it, tear it out, start all over. The tearing out part is kind of fun in a way anyway. As long as you don't get too far down the road and it's too late to tear it out and you've caused yourself lots and lots of problems. So we'll dive into this one. I have to lay some track before I put the coal mine tops on. And yeah, I laid some track and had to tear it right back out. Take a look. There we go, a couple more pieces of road bed laid down, and while that's drying, I've got a piece of track I need to lay. So I'll go ahead and get this section down that I did not get finished up. There we go, second piece of the flex track is laid. I glued it, and it's been a couple days since I was able to get back out here, but let's give this a test for the clearances. I think right here would be the tightest spot, and you can see that that turns kind of sharp, but right here, plenty of clearance. Even when that enters right there, definitely plenty of clearance. I think these are the longest cars I'm going to be using anyway. So yeah, it works real good. Everything's engaged. Fantastic. So now that that track's laid, I'll come back over here. You can see I got both of these pieces of road bed in. I got to put this side in. I'm just using Titebond wood glue. I've used this on a layout a long time ago in the past, back in the 90s, and it worked out great. So since I know it works, I'm going to continue using it. I know other people use caulk and all that stuff. I use caulking on some of the N-scale layout in the house. I didn't like how it worked out. So right back to the wood glue I'm going. So I'll finish that off and maybe get this piece of track laid in while I'm out here. We'll see how far I get. So I got that final piece of road bed down. I'm going to go ahead and sand these edges before I lay this track down. Smooth some of the humps right here. So yeah, we'll get all this sanded down. Looking good. Clean up the mess. And then I'll be able to lay the track on here. But yeah, get rid of these humps. Got a hump. There's a little bit of hump. Make it nice and smooth. Let's get after it. Well, we'll let this sit overnight. We'll clear all this off. We'll run a rail car down it and give it a test shot and go from there. On this part of the layout, this is probably going to be the sharpest turn on the entire layout, and I knew it would be a problem. This inside curve, starting here to there. But I only had so much space, and if I have to run shorter cars on it, then I'll run shorter cars. But so far it's working out. We got this clears. It clears just fine. Of course it clears there. Now right here you can see the major overhang. This long auto rack. But as long as it clears, and it does, not too bad. Like I said, these are probably the longest cars I'm running. But since it is long, it does slow down right there because it's pulling a lot of tension. And I did check the track gauge. Track gauge is just fine. So I think because it's hitting that smallest pivot point right there, it's binding maybe the trucks. But other than that, it does go through pretty good. Let's see. We'll zing it. You can see it slowed down there. And like I said, I checked the gauge. It is going good. Oh, right off the edge of the track. But yeah. So I'm happy with that because the inside track might be my mixed freight type stuff. Auto racks and things like that will probably go on the outer track. Because like I said, I've checked these. These aren't as sharp. And these aren't as sharp. The stairs will be the sharpest curve that is on the entire layout. But this is probably going to be the shortest video I've done because I am pretty much out of glue. I've got to buy some more and got to go back to work for the next few days. So I probably won't be out here. Yeah, I went and dug one of the cold cars out. It's definitely the sharpness of the radius for that auto rack because it's so long. This one goes through just fine with no hesitation. Doesn't grab anywhere. So yeah, it's the length of the car for this sharp of a curve. And when you hook the two together, it definitely shows how extreme it is for the length of the car. So yep, sharpest curve going to give me a problem for auto racks for sure. You can hear it kind of bottoming out on its turn max radius. You can see it. But that's okay. I got to do what I got to do around this turn. Like I said, this will be the only one, so auto racks and longer cars probably back there. I might be able to pull it off though. We'll see. We'll run the train when this is all together and see how bad it really is. But yeah, it's pretty extreme. Yeah. Well, after pondering on this curve for a couple days, I'm not happy with those results. So I'm back out here. I'm actually tearing this track back out. Going to redo a little bit of road bed. And I'm going to make this turn a little wider. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of space between the tracks. But yeah, and I'm also going to redo this section here. With two auto racks, it was actually tossing the car off. So I've already pulled this track up. I'm going to broaden this turn a little bit better instead of having such a sharp S. Yeah, I'm not going to move forward until this is more satisfactory to running trains. There we go, got the road bed and track picked back up, scraped up, cleaned it off. So now we'll re-sweep this curve a little bit closer that way, and I'm going to bring it out this way and curve it back in a little more. Let's see what we can do with that. Well, I figured while I was at it, while that's drying, this was really sharp here, so I'm going to bring this one a gradual, just like this one, back into here. That way I don't get the shoving effect like I was getting there. I'm going to straighten that a little bit before it hits the turn. So yeah, I got that all scraped up and cleaned off. Let's put another piece of road bed down. There we go. I kind of like that slow sweep versus that sharp curve to the straight that I had. Like I said, right here when this curve was, you can see the black line where the ballast was, or the road bed was. It cut so sharp that it was shoving the car off when it hit that turn. So now this will be a bigger sweep, and that'll be a bigger sweep. So we'll let that dry so I can get it sanded down, and then we'll lay some track and see what happens to this one. All sanded down, everything's smooth again, and now we will attempt to lay some track again. See how this works out. And again, we'll let this dry. And we'll test this one before I glue that piece back there. I want to make sure that I'm not tearing anything out again. So I kind of want to move on. I may have a piece of plywood just big enough to cover this section. I'm not sure, but I will go check my scrap. That would be nice to get this section out of the way. Let's go see. Now the scrap piece I wanted to use was when I made these two pieces for the elevated coal mine section. Wasn't able to get that piece out of it, but I was able to get this piece and the triangle piece for the wedge there. So that works out just fine. That's still drying. I'll come back to this in a little bit. I am so glad I did that, went through that before. Right there is if you're pushing. If you push that car, it would this one would literally push this car right off. Now it's super smooth through there. It's not binding on this curve here. They're not even touching anymore. Oops, sorry. Too busy watching the cars there. Yes, it's not as extreme as it was from above. It's not kicked out as much there. I am happy. Now I just gotta get it to where that don't kick into the next one. So I'll lay this other piece of track and see what happens. Okay, so I glued this other piece of track down, waiting for it to dry. I had to sacrifice some space right here, bring them together. Trying not to get this car to kick into that one, but the problem, I'm going to have to take this one out, either move it or shave it, because since I had to kick the track that way, the car will probably hit that back support. But we'll deal with that when the time comes. I just want enough room that these two cars, if two trains come in the opposite direction or same direction, doesn't hit each other. Just need enough clearance. So we'll see when this is dry. We'll do some test runs. This may have to come out. I may have to build a bigger one to go on a different angle. I'm trying to squeeze everything on this tight little corner here. So it's a lot of trial and error. But we'll get it. Track's all dried up and everything. Do a test run. It doesn't shove the car off on this corner. I liking that. Everything is smooth. Now I didn't move this or mess with this yet, but I'm going to have to. It doesn't hit, but it has like a fraction of a space to clear that. So I will be taking this off, shaving down that pillar a little bit. But I'm happy that that clears, and I'm not going to take too much off. There we go. That's the only sharpest part of that curve right there. The rest of it's nice and smooth. It gets through there just fine. True test will be right here. Let me line up these cars, see if they hit. Oh, I'm very happy. Plenty of clearance. To get through that curve. So I'm definitely happy about this. It all worked out in the end. Fantastic. I can move forward. I am definitely happy I took the time to tear these back out. Tear that section back out. Now it won't be a disappointing spot on the layout. I know the auto racks and the Amtrak Venture Series cars should go through there now. They're about the same length. So what part of the layout I get to next, never know. I'll probably go under there and put some ties back so I can get that top put back on. Maybe start working on this coal mine section. Now that the sections of the tracks that will be covered up and hard to get to are complete. Well, I figure I'll start over here with some road bed, seeing how I need more plywood. We'll get some stuff going and see how this turns out. At least get some road bed laid and run out of track as well. And I figure I'll start on this side. It seems easier. I don't know why. But yeah, we'll start laying some road bed. Figure out where the switch is going to go. Space the track accordingly. Go from there. Well, there you go. Now, I did have fun actually tearing that out because it was a learning curve. Ha, no pun intended. It helps you figure out down the road when you're laying track that not to make that too sharp, or definitely test it out. Because, yeah, if I'd have just let that go and, that's good enough, I'll deal with it later. No, dealing with it later will make you very upset at your layout, and it no longer becomes fun. And you'll probably just stop running it, and that's not good. I got a shout out, as I always do. I love giving shout outs. People who support the channel. And it is Frank from Twisted MacGyver's Trains. Take a look. That is fantastic. Really appreciate that, Frank. I want you guys to go in the description. Check out Frank's channel. The link will be there. He runs O-gauge trains, and his stuff in his collection is absolutely amazing. So if you have not checked out Frank's channel before, I advise you to go check it out now. Even if you're not into O-gauge, his equipment is amazing. You will enjoy what he's got. So go take a look. All right, till next update. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So like, share, subscribe. Don't cost nothing. Hit that button. Pappy out.